Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurubhe Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Sangracharya Madhyamam Smadacharya Pariyandam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sagana Vavadu Sagana Punaktu Sakabhiryam Karavavage Tejasvina Padidamastuma Vatvishavage. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Saridasya Vitakena Yopakarotam Munina Pranjali Manadosmi. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So I have some internet problems this morning, so if there is any interruption, apologies for that. So we are looking at the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali's Sadhana Padha. And the Ashtanga Yoga consists of 8 limbs, 8 constituents. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyagara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So of that, we saw the first 2, Yamam and Niyamam. If you recall, Patanjali is giving us these sadhanas to attain the goal. The goal is yoga, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. To attain the purity of mind. That is the goal. You see, you may have enormous knowledge, extremely bright intellect. You may understand, read, know the scriptures, you can do upanyasam, you can do all knowledge you may have, sastra jnana you may have. But if your mind is not pure, chitta shuddhi is not there, all that jnanam is laden weight. It may give you certain benefits in this world, but it is not going to lead you to emancipation, freedom. So more than Shastra Jnanam, the most important part is Chitta Shuddhi. In fact, when the mind is pure, the Shastra Jnanam becomes very loose and very transparent, very easy, very trivial. Because for a pure mind, it's like flammable petrol, yes, little spark is good enough to set ablaze with jnana. Therefore, Patanjali's sadhana padam is giving us to achieve this goal. So to give that, mind is the innermost sanctum of inside our body. So to reach the mind, to purify it, Patanjali gives you a step-by-step process. So how do you know that I have a clean mind or anybody's got a pure mind? We know by the conduct in the world. So the behavior, the value system that one exhibits in their actions in the world demonstrates in a certain way that they have a pure mind. Therefore, Patanjali starts with our conduct in the world. In other words, what is our value system? That he defines by 2 rules, Yama and Niyama. Yama means that you don't do, by which you attain certain virtues. By not being, not lying, you attain satyam. Not being violent, you attain ahimsa. Not stealing anybody, you attain non-stealing, asteya. Like that, by regulating, by controlling our behavior, by not doing certain things. What are the certain things? 5 things. Ahimsa, satya, asteya, aparigraha. What's the other one? Just let me read. So he said those things. Then he went on to Niyama. Saucham, Santosham, then Tapas, Swadhyayam, Ishvara Pranidhana. Now, after finishing these two steps, we should go to the third one, Asana. But before we go to that, Patanjali says, well, I will also give you some more knowledge, the knowledge to eliminate any impediments to this. To what? To perform the Yama Niyamas. Those impediments are not coming outside, it is coming inside you. They are called vitarkas, countering thoughts, deviant thoughts. Why should I be non-violent to them? Why should I not steal this one? This kind of a counter thoughts which take us away from the discipline are called vitarkas. So the vitarkams you must stop, and he gives upayam for that. The upayam is pratibhaksha bhavanam. That means whenever the contradictory ideas come into your mind to make you away, take you away, you think about those ideas and find the cause of the ideas and counteract with an opposing ideas to it. That's called a pratibhaksha bhavana. So with this we saw. And it is important because the following, especially Yama, is very important to follow. Because if we do not follow the Yama and Niyama, we are perpetually doomed in this samsara. I'm not saying this. This is said by Bhagavan. Tanaham Trishdat Kruran Samsareshu Naradaman. Shipami Ajashram Ashubhan Asuras Yonishu. In 16th chapter, he's saying, that is those people who do not follow Yama Niyamas. Therefore, they become Drishyata Krura, very cruel haters. Samsareshu, in this world, they are Nara Adaman. So they are the lowest of the mankind. People who are cruel to others, who got krodham. So what does the Bhagavan do? Aham Shipami. I throw them, I hurl them into Ajashram, again and again, I throw them into Ashubha, inauspicious Yoni. Yoni means womb. So I throw them back into the inauspicious womb of Asuras, Asurasya Eva, which means, so that means basically, if we have bad qualities, I say this because very important word here, krodham, dvesham. People who have this krodham and dvesham, they are perpetually doomed to be born again to people of similar nature. That's why they are born into a family of people who are having anger and dvesham. So Bhagavan is therefore saying it's a very important quality that we should not have this kind of a krodham and dveshams. So this is what Patanjali is going to pick it up. Patanjali is going to therefore say, this vitarkam that we saw in a very long sutra, but it is a simple one to understand. He says, vitarka himsadayah krita karita anumodita lobha krodha moha purvaka mrudumadya adimatra dukkha ajnana anantapala iti pratibhaksha bhavana. Pretty long sutra, but quite simple to understand if you split into 3 or 4 parts. In this sutra, what he's giving is, don't underestimate the vitarkas. What are the vitarkas? Himsa dayaha. So let's take into the first part. Himsa dayaha. So himsa, etc. Himsa, asatya, asteya, all this kind of things are very dangerous if you don't apply the YAMA principles for it, how do they appear to me? How does the vitarka appears to me? He says, Krita ka anumodita. So let's take one example of here. Let's take himsa, violence. So violence is, I'm now thinking of doing violence to somebody, injury to somebody, by words, action, thoughts, whatever. I have justification for doing that. That's a vitarka thought. Now, Patanjali is saying, this could be krita, that means committed by you. You are doing the violence directly. Or karita, you don't commit, but you make somebody do it for you. Last one is anumodita. You are not doing it, you are not enforcing anybody to do it, but you have consented to that. You have somehow not against, you have given approval of that cruelty. See, it's total package. Injury is not just I do it. If I do it by myself or get somebody to do it on my behalf, or you even implicitly or explicitly consented to that, all it is violence. So I see somebody is causing harm to somebody else, and I know it is unjust, but the person who got affected by it is something whom I do not like. Therefore, if I implicitly feel happy about this, I have committed the violence. So in three ways, the ahimsa can be. Same way, you can apply it to asteya, everything, asatya. So the reason why there is no excuse, we can say, look, yeah, I saw the violence of it. Well, I didn't do the violence, but you are rejoicing it. Well, I didn't do it. But Patanjali says, no, if you're rejoicing it, you're accepting it, consenting it, you are also committing the violence. So he is trying to make sure in all form of violence is not in us. Then he says, Lobha, Krodha, Moha, Purvaka. This is the reason why I picked up this Bhagavan's sloka. There are so many reasons why this bad thoughts comes to us, but Patanjali picks up only three. And he's packing everything into these three. So if you look at all our evil qualities, tendencies, they come from the lobha, greed, miserliness, possessiveness, avarice, or anger. Anger is to destroy the other person for whatever reason, destroy the thought, destroy the possession. Or the delusion, not sure what to do, why it happened. Of course, all this happens because of avidya. So we don't go to that root cause yet. But these three behavior influences, or greed, anger, and delusion, are causing the violence to be done directly by us or through somebody else, or accepting it. See, the anger, because I'm angry at somebody, that person got hit by a car, so I feel a little bit relieved because I'm a bad person. The anger. So therefore, I caused the violence to the person. This is the import of this. So you have three types of action, three types of triggers for that. Then he says the intensity of the triggers. Mritu, madhya, adimatra. See, the greed may be a small greed. The anger may be a very minute anger. Therefore, the violence may be minute. That's what you think, right? The intensity is very minute. But what happens is, if you are bullying somebody for whatever reason, and you bully it initially mocking at fun at them, you're causing injury, but you have reason to believe that you should do it, so you do it. But what happened, the moment you know the person is vulnerable and he is weak, she is weak, then your tendency to bully increases more. So the intensity becomes from mridu to madhya. Then your violence becomes more. You see, they just grow. So therefore, Patanjali here shows the intensity of three parts: mridu, madhya, adhimatra. Why are we studying in so detail all this? Because we need to control it. We need to remove it. The Pratibhaksha Bhavana means to remove this vitarkam. So there is no point in trying to remove it when it reaches the adhimatra, the highest intensity of it. Very difficult to remove it. Therefore, we must be able to grasp that it is in a mridu matra. It's coming tender. Very little greed, little anger comes in me. It's quite easy to hold it and squash it. So now you can see one ahimsa. So one himsa can be in three ways: krita, karita, anumatra. Three triggers: lobha, krodha, moha. Three intensities: mridu, madhya, adhimatra. So now you can see multiply 3 times 3 times 3, 27 times that same himsa impact can vary. See? So it means you must do the Pratibhaksha Bhavana treatment in 27 different ways, right? This is how it looks like. The idea is, if I know that this can manipulate in so many different ways, I must therefore understand to kill it, the Pratibhaksha Bhavana must be at the root cause of it. That's the whole idea of this elaboration. So what happens if I don't do anything about it? What happens? That means I'm not following YAMA, NIYAMAs. I am getting violent, I'm getting angry, I'm stealing things, I'm falsehood. So Bhagavan already said that those people are born and born and born again and again and again in the wombs of people who are also similar to that. Dukkha, ajnana, ananta phalam. So you get grief. Very interesting one. Next one he says, you also get ajnana. You get into darkness. But in Vedanta we saw that ignorance causes everything, right? So you have ignorance, therefore you have all these bad qualities. But the bad qualities also increases the ignorance. It is a two-way process. And this ignorance and this greed, anantam. Ananta means perpetual, forever. Phala, that's a phalam. That is the benefit of this. Do all this krodham, lobham, moham, madhamachiriyam, all this. If you don't control it, then you get into this indefinite sink of grief. Therefore, what we should do, iti Pratibhaksha Bhavanam. Therefore, you apply the Pratibhaksha Bhavanam to destroy them. We already saw what the Pratibhaksha Bhavanam is. So if I say lobham, so I'm not giving, I'm greed, I'm possessive, I don't want to give money to anybody else, not even a good cause. So what is the Pratibhaksha Bhavanam? Lobham means I don't want to give it away. Therefore now the Pratibhaksha means I must give it away. Bhavana means I imagine, I apply. Therefore, I start contemplating, thinking that as if I am donating things to people. I'm educating a poor child. I'm giving money for a poor lady to get married. Whatever. I mean, you think of all those things. And when you start thinking all the time and imagining you are giving that away, even though you are still a miser, what happens is your mind starts rejoicing. The mind starts rejoicing it. You will see evidence of this rejoice in this world. You will start looking at great people who does contribution to the world. So your direction changes. Then you will ape. You will start giving them those things. Your behavior will change. See, this is the idea of the Pratibhaksha Bhavana. It is purpose. So you have to take it, even in a practical way. Say, what happens, if I lose somebody I love dearly? I can't think of the thought. Well, that fear is there in your mind. You must develop a Pratibhaksha Bhavana. This is a very crude example, but it's a very effective example. So I think of, I'm losing the person now. So what do I do? So I console, I develop, I think of philosophies. I love, now what, nothing is permanent. So this is how you bring in anything opposing thought to that, to counter that. And this is an ongoing exercise we should do. But to do that, we must know what is a vidarkam. What is that is coming us into a mind to take us away. Okay. So then again, it goes further, So the mridu becomes madhyam. Therefore, there's the mridu madhyam, there's a madhya adimatram. Like that it goes in. So you can multiply another 3 times to 81 and it keep on going. But that is to show you the enormity of these problems. Like a weed, when a small weed comes in, if you don't tarnish it out, it'll convert the whole garden into a weed garden, right? That's the idea here. Okay. Now he's going to give you, now we saw the Yama Niyama. Now he's going to give you the benefits of following this. So Yama 5, Niyama 5. For each one, he's going to give you some benefits. Therefore, the next 10 sutras, actually 11 sutras. It's very interesting because there are only 10 items, but he's going to give 11 sutras because he's going to use 2 sutras to shaucham, the cleanliness. So it therefore gives you an idea that how important it is to be clean, both physically and mentally. So you will see them. So these are all very simple sutras. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I try to hope to finish this one today. Let's see. But in this one, he is indicating the prayojanam, the palam. So there can be 2 kinds of palams, a mukhya palam or avantra palam. So mukhya palam means the most important. Say, for example, say I want to bring flowers to the temple. I want to give the flowers to the deity in the temple. Therefore, I put a lot of flower pots at my house, cultivate them and take the flowers and give it to the God. You are expecting the God's grace. So the mukhya palam is the God's grace. The punyam, you will get it. For sure. The mukhya palam in this action is the grace of God, the punya. But the avantra palam is, because you are having flowers in the garden, your garden looks beautiful. So people come and say, you got a beautiful garden. I didn't think of that. That was not my motive, but it is happening. This is a secondary benefit, avantra palam. Or because you are cultivating it, you work hard, you weed out, your physical strength, your body is very, very good. Exercise, avantra palam. So in other words, the mukhya palam and avantra palam, the benefit of primary nature and secondary nature is depending on your context. So for Patanjali, all the sadhanas mukhya palam is only one. What that is? Chitta Shuddhi. That means an ability, the quality to attain kaivalyam, moksham. That is only mukhya palam. But like this gardening gives you pleasure, God gives you beauty to the garden, there are many avantra palams going to happen when you do this yogas, Ashtanga yoga. They are called siddhis. The siddhi means you can take it avantra palam. So he's going to give you a mix of this. Sometimes he gives you mukhya palam, sometimes he gives avantra palam. You can take it. Of course, he's going to come later and say why all the siddhis are not important. But for the fun of it, let's learn what they are. Ahimsa, pradishtaya, tatsannidau, vairatyagaga. So here he gives the benefits of ahimsa. Ahimsa pradishtayam. So ahimsa, pradishtaya means very well established, absolutely strongly established. Therefore, upon the firm compliance to non-violence. That means you understand what is violent, you understand the vidarkam for the violence, the ability to suppress the vidarkams by pratibhaksha bhavanam. Therefore, your attitude, behavior, you are non-injurious to any being in this world. If you have achieved that, that's Sannidha. In your presence, in that person's presence. It's a very virtuous presence because he is a very virtuous person, non-violent person. In his presence, Vaira Tyaga. Vaira means enmity. Enmity, Tyaga, given up. Not only in him, because he's already given up. In his proximity, in his ambience, around his nature, everything will give enmity. They even say the snake which is hungry, which eats the frog, won't eat the frog. The tigers, the deer go together. This is not a poetic expression. It's a romantic imagination. No, there are evidences of this in the great saints, the Puranas. In Bhagavan Ramana's there, snakes were there, not harming. So because that person becomes non-violent, his presence, his ambience creates peace. That's the reason why, when in the world there is a lot of war, you must take a side. That's fine. You argue about it, but there are also need to be people who are not affected by this. They are very quiet. Like Bhagavan used to be there. The world war is happening. The news comes in every day. He takes a newspaper. He will read it this way, upside down. Then he fold it, put it down. He won't say anything. And everybody is looking to him and say, what is his view about the Italian power or German power? What's happening? He won't comment. And somebody asked the question, everybody is talking about this world war, and we're not talking about it. What is Bhagavan's view? And after a long time, he says, what is there to say? Is this something I can do to go and fight and solve this problem? I should do it. But I'm not able to influence in any way. I'm not going to be there. We're talking about it. I create the, vitarkam here. Shanti goes away. Let that be Shanti here. It's a very profound. It looks like, he's not caring about this. No, it's not that. Because by being an ahimsa, being in that position, his glory, his power, his radiance creates peace around it. Imagine there are such yogis everywhere. The world will be full of peace. So that's the idea here. So that is a siddhi you get. You create ambience of peace. Then satya pradishtaya kriyapala ashrayatvam. This is the benefit for satya. When you speak the truth, satya pradishtaya. So the same meaning, upon being truthful, upon being compliant to, you understand what's the truthness? Truth, telling what you saw to the receiver who can capable of handling the truth. Hitam bata, satyam bata. We saw that all that, remember that. But when one is completely compliant to the satyam, what happens is kriyapala. So all the actions and the actions benefits, effects. Ashrayatvam. Ashrayam means support, resort, abode, ayatanam. He becomes, or he or she becomes, the supporting platform on which every action and the action's results happen. Simply put, it means that person's words, thoughts becomes the reality. Whatever he says comes true. Because he speaks Satyam. So therefore, if you say something, it comes true. The Abhirami Bhatter story. In a new moon day, he said, out of his tapas, he just said, it's a full moon day. The story is the full moon came because he said that. So this is very important to understand. And that's why we know in our families, in a traditional Sanatana Dharma, they always say, speak the truth, don't say things, because essentially we are all Satya Pradishtaya. In a Vedantic way, we are all Atma, Satyam. Therefore, of course, it is clouded by all these evil qualities. So, to Aman, whatever happens, come through. But for the yogis, it becomes very natural. Important. Well, you must also understand, very important, but it is all Siddhi. What does Siddhi means? Siddhi means Amanushya Shakti. Power that normally you and I don't have. It comes. What did I tell you before? When it comes, it will always go. These, therefore, come and go. Like Vishwamitra was a great rishi, yogi. And whatever he said, come true. But after some time, whatever he says doesn't come true. He goes to Vasishtha and says, look, what happened to me? He said, you didn't understand. What you had is Siddhi. And you're using it, you're expending it. When you're expending it, it'll go away. It's like a money, it's a cash, zero. Then you have to go back and do tapas again. So therefore, the power of telling, like therefore you get you do a yoga shakti, you do a dhyana, upasanas, and you get this power to some coming. And then if you started trading on it, it'll happen for some time. Now you will become more anguished because all the livelihood, all the fame, money you made of that power make you now a poor person and no fun at you. So Siddhis cannot be handled. Siddhis should not be handled. If it comes and if it comes out of you now and that is giving healing to somebody else, so be it. You're not expending it. It is spilling out from you. But if you are using it to show that you are powerful enough, you are very temporal in nature. So great jnanis, great acharyas, they'll be very humble. They will not take this power. They will disown it. And if it wants to be ashrayatvam on them and then expose themselves into them, doesn't matter. No, if you go to Paramacharyas and you say, you told me I got this, you are the Bhagavan, you'll say, I'm not. It's the issue. They will disown it. This is the Ananda Siddhi you get. Truthful, when you're thinking you're truthful, then you have to have a yama that you don't say which will hurt somebody else, because that will come true. So you have a responsibility with being truthful person. Then, Asteya Pradishtaya Sarvaratno Upasthana. Asteya Pradishtha. So if you have a non-stealing mentality, you don't take, it's not a stealing object of material nature. It is also stealing somebody's credit, stealing somebody's labor. Now we talked about it. We should be anything free. Anything, nothing should be free to us. We should have given back something. It's very important. So when we are like that, what happened is Sarva Ratna, all treasures, Upasthana. It's an interesting one because for him, Ratnams means treasure, jewels and gems, as if they are hidden in a treasure hunt, institution. People used to take the savings, put in a pot, hide somewhere. They might have died, and then it comes as somebody as a treasure hunt. Here, what the idea here is that people who has no interest in anybody's property, for them, they can see the treasures they are hiding. This is Siddhi. They can see where the treasures are. He can also take it like other way. All the treasures will come upon him. will come to stand in front of him to serve him. In other words, he's never worried. Things will move on for him smoothly. So you can take it in both ways. A siddhi of finding out the occult treasures, it may happen, it may not happen. But definitely the life of the person will be free of any problems of resources. Everything will go smoothly for him. So this is the Mukhya Palan and Abhantara Palan. Brahmacharya Virya Labha. Again, if you are a brahmacharya, so brahmacharya, we talked about it before, two ways. The physical control your celibacy as non-indulging in a sexual affairs in when you're not qualified as a student or vanaprastha sannyasi, or in a grihastha following the niyamam for it. Other meaning is brahmacharya means the path of Brahma Vidya, that you follow the path of Brahma Vidya in all walks of life. When it is done, Virya Labha. Again, you have two meanings. The Virya means, we will see it more when you go into the other yoga part. So you have three things you have to look at it. Tejas, Ojas, Prana. Very briefly, Ojas is the essence of your cellular fluids. And it is the Jalaha, water. It's the essence of your fluid of your body. It is the one that is undercurrent of your ovary, your sperms, everything. Ojas. Tejas is, so in Ayurveda, Ojas is considered as Kapha, Kapam. Pittam is equivalent to Agni, is Tejas. Tejas is the luster, the effulgence of your nerves, your nadis. Tejas. It shows, it glorifies in your face. A pleasantness is there. So Jalam is Ojas, Agni is Tejas. Vayu in Vata is Prana. So these three forces, Prana, Tejas, Ojas, are the one which are in the embodiments, both physical and the inner subtle nature, to enliven them. So we will see more in detail later. But here he says, by brahmacharya, by celibacy, virya labha, the ojas and to certain extent tejas are controlled in you, and it gives you the power, the potency. What is the potency? What does it mean? It means your senses becomes very sharp. You become very vigilant, very alert. This is very important because this is not neither a Mukhya Palam nor a Abhantara Palam. It is direct effect. When you do the gardening, your body gets better. Like this, Brahmacharyam gives you the capacity of your body and mind to be sharper. Okay, this is important. Aparigraha. So, aparigraha idea, Janma Katanta Sambodha. So this is also interesting. Aparigraha means indulgence. Sorry, parigraha means indulgence. Aparigraha means non-indulgence. Not indulging in things that are not necessary in your life. Not over accumulation. Stadium means pradhisthana. It's basically establishment. So when you have the non-indulgence, that means you have unnecessary, you don't have unnecessary sensual pleasures. When you do that, what's happening is Janma, incarnation, Katanta. Katanta is a very interesting phrase. If you take the ta suffix is added to the indeclinable katam. Katam. What, where? Katanta means wherewithal, how, why, the cause. Cause of what? Janma. So of your births, this birth, previous birth, you know all your previous birth. You know why the birth happened. You may also know what your next birth is going to be. Not only for you, even for others. When you look at somebody, you know what they were before. So this siddhi comes in. Sambodhaka. This comes to you. So just by following aparigraha, the yama, the important yama established on this, you are able to know your as well as others' janmas. If you ask a question, what is the point of that? Well, what is going to say? What's the point of that? Ignore it, but it will come. It will come. So if you have no vidya to manage it, imagine I come to this understanding that my previous janma, so I was a pet dog of my friend's house. How do I feel? So if I don't have the capacity to understand and detach from the embodiments to my real nature, unless you are in the Vedantic pursuit, the level of understanding, all these are unnecessary powers that comes to you to create a vidarka. But here the point is, it happens, it comes. So we saw in the 5 yamas, 5 aparigraha. So the brahmacharya is what stuck in my mind. I didn't come to my mind before. So 5 yamas and the benefit. Then we take niyama. Saucha, jugupsa, paraihi, asam sarjaha. Saucham. Saucham means cleanliness, to be pure. Kinds of saucham. Saucham, bhagiranga saucham, bhahyam, cleaning outside the body, outside atmosphere, everything else. Antaranga saucham is cleansing your internal mind thoughts. So in this sutra 40, he is talking about the bhaki saucham. When it is clean, saucha means having cleansed your body and mind in a way. Here he talks about swa-anga. Swa-anga means swa-anga, on one's own body. This is also a body, what you eat, how you clean up your external part and everything. By cleaning this, what happens when you keep on cleaning it? You just cleanse this morning, when you go out for a walk, come back, you are dirty. You wash your feet. You sleep, next day morning, you need to wash again. It's never is getting back to dirty. Even if you don't go anywhere, it becomes dirty. Maybe actually dirty. I'm trying to make it look clean. So you go through all kinds of thoughts like this. So therefore, you create an aversion. Aversion is not here hate, non-affection, not attachment. Jugupsa means aversion. Manage it, you're not unduly attached to it. The perfume is fine when you put the perfume, but you know that it's a waste of time because it will rot again. But not only on your body, paraihi asam sarjaha. That means it also gives you an understanding that you don't need to really be attracted to everybody. That beautiful woman I like, the beautiful boy I like, all these things. I'm not discounting the essential love of nature. That's fine. But the undue attachment and worshipping the body instead of the soul in the person, this goes away because you become understanding that this is not something you can ever clean fully. So this is an important benefit. So you create vairagyam. That's why saucham is very important. Especially in our Hindu dharma, you have to have a bath without even drinking coffee. You can't, every water you see, you make it as a kirtan, Punya Tirtham, you have a bath. Cleanliness very important, God. No? Very important. So now the next one. What happens if I have internal cleanliness? Sattva, Shuddhi, Saumanasya, Aigagriya, Indriya Atmadarshana, Yogyatvane cha. Okay, here he talks about 5 different benefits. When you have internal cleanliness, your mind is clean, you go to satsangam, you listen to good things, you have the pratibhaksha bhavanam, whenever the bad thoughts in, you cut them away, you're trying to keep your mind clean. Wait a minute, the whole thing is to clean the mind. But how come here cleaning the mind itself a process? This is the very interesting insight here, Like, if you're hungry, you eat. So when you're eating, what happens? Your hunger is going down. Hunger going down is, without hunger is the laksham. But eating is what? Is it not the laksham? You have to eat. You are the eating. That's also a sadhana, sadhyam. So a sadhana and sadhyam becomes one when you're eating it, because you're not only fulfilling your hunger, but you're also enjoying that fulfillment. But this is a very essence of learning, especially Vedanta. When you hear Vedanta, when you study Vedanta, it's like eating delicious food. It itself is a sadhyam, itself is a sadhana. So here he talk about as a sadhana. Sattva Shuddhi. Sattva means the mental purity. Because when you are doing all this YAMA, NIYAMA, your guna is on your mind, pure. That means the tamasam and rajas going down. So that's number 1. So first benefit you get. So manasya. It's also a very interesting word. So in pure mind, but also a strong mind. See, we may be a very good person. We may be a very nice person. We don't do harm to anybody else. And then I come and see you one day and you are a bit disappointed and worried. And I asked you, what happened? You're such a great person. What happened to you? Well, I went to the temple and that person, he saw me. He said a bad word. He abused me. What happened now? You are a very soft person, but you don't have the strength of mind to deflect it away. You're a weak person. A weak mind is not a strong, not a happy mind. The other aspect also, the other person do himsa to you, you listen to it, and then you do himsa to yourself. So either it's a vidarkam, because ahimsa is what? Ahimsa is not doing himsa to others, himsa to your mind. Your mind is just your belonging. It's not you. So when your mind is hurting because you are thinking to hurt, then you are doing himsa. Now, so manasya means you are not only a good-hearted nature, you have a clarity and therefore you have a strength of character. You don't get upset by this. So that is a benefit comes in when you have purity of the thoughts. Now, once you have that strength of character, what happens? You are able to have, the strength gives you the ability to put the mind on thing that you want to see. Egagriham is egagriham. Egagriham means the ability to take the egagriham on any of this object. Now I am going to meditate, egagriham. Mind goes into this. Nothing else comes to me. So the clean thoughts makes your mind able to focus. Now, when I focus the mind, what will be the vidarkam there? When I focus in the mind, every sense will come and tell me, don't focus, something interesting happening on the television. So what I have to do, I need to control the indriyams. That will also happen. Indriya jaya. We become Indrajit, conquering our senses. You see, Each one is leading to other. Sattva Shuddhi leads to Saumanasyam, leads to Yagagraham, leads to Indriya Jayam. Now it can go on like this. The Patanjali draws a line. So all this happens to give you what? Atma Darshana Yogyata. You are all these qualities, all these benefits make you a qualified person to be an Atma Darshana. See, the cha means so clear mind, strong mind, focused mind, controlled mind, all that gives you the quality. You can now say, bring it on, Guru, show me the Atma. The moment he says, Tattvamasi, you are able to see it. That kind of a ness comes in. That is a benefit of cleanliness. Next one. Santoshat. Very interesting, this one. Anuttama Sugalabha. Santoshat. What is Santosha means? Santosha means one of the niyama. You have to be. Santosha means tripti, contentment. Now, very interesting one. If I am happy, what is the benefit? I cannot say, if you're happy, you are happy. Is it not? So it looks very funny that therefore Patanjali thinks about it and say, okay, Santosha means contentment. So if you are contented in everything that you have in life, what is contentment? If you don't have contentment, what does it mean? Atripti means what? You are not happy with what you have. You are not happy with what you don't have. In other words, you are perpetually dissatisfied. Santosha means you are happy with what you have. You are happy with what you don't have. Contentment. So he therefore says, Anuttama. Uttama means the extremely brilliant. Anuttama means that which cannot be excelled. That means there is no other joy. There is extremely, supremely unlimited. What? Sukham. Sukham means joy. Labha comes in. So he is giving, he's just giving more words to contemplate. Santosha means sukham. Santosha means tripti. But when you are tripti in everything else, the sukham is anuttama. So anuttama means unexcelled, unparalleled, inexplicable, completely supreme. Sukham. That means you are untouched. Peace, shanti. That's an important word. Shanti. Nothing affects you. Tripti. So again, this thing, again, what do you have to do? Pratibhaksha bhavana. When you have not tripti on something else, what is the pratibhaksha bhavana? You must say, okay, why I'm not having tripti on this? Because I don't have it. Why I don't have it? For whatever reason, maybe my janma, punyam, I don't have it. But still you are not satisfied. Then you say, think about the product itself. What I don't have it, that particular car. Well, that car will be rusted in 5 years' time. Junk, go away, rotten. So this is the pratibhaksha bhavana you do. Next, kayendriya siddhi, ashuddhi. Niyamam is 5, right? Saucham, santosham, tapas, swadhyayam, ishvara pranidhani. Now we are talking about the tapas. So tapas is what? In your body, in your mind, in your words, doing penance. That means controlling them, depriving them of bhoga if needed, so that they are at the verge of balancing itself, not doing anything which is not approved by the Shastras. That is tapas. Also, tapas is the penance to achieve what is otherwise achievable. Now, by doing that, what happens is Ashuddhi kshayat. See, again, the goal is to remove the ashuddham. So, ashuddhi kshaya. Kshaya means destroyed. Ashuddhi is dirty. So, all your blemishes are destroyed by tapas. And because the blemishes are destroyed, the blemishes are formed by your kaya indriyas. All the bad things that comes to us because of our body, because bodily functions create mak, and the indriyas, the senses create blemish mak. So what happens here is the kaya indriya siddhi, the mastery over the body and the senses. You are able to control the body and mind because the ashuddhi is destroyed, they are pure. Not like a car, if you drive a car, you press the accelerator, it goes, brakes, it stops, perfectly serviced. The car is doing exactly what it's supposed to do at your order. Same way, the car of your body, the car of your mind, your senses would behave exactly what it's supposed to do at your command because they are cleansed, pure. How they are pure? By the tapas. Therefore, the Mukhya Palam, here's Mukhya Palam itself, I can say. So tapas is actually giving you the ability to control the body and mind. It's very easy, right, to know. If you eat a lot of food, are you able to do a afternoon jog that you need to do? No, you need to eat less. Tapas is depriving the bhogam of your body. So you don't eat less, you don't eat too much. Then you get the mastery of your body. But here it is going to the finest level of purity of your body and mind. Tapasaka confidence. Swadhyayat Ishtadevata Sampayoga. Now I'm just moving all this very fast because these are all very simple ones. But I also want you to contemplate on them to understand more meaning of it. Then you will enjoy it. So here, Swadhyayat, having done Swadhyayam. What is Swadhyaya means? Self-study. Self-study means studying by your own self, studying about the self, following the mananam in the form of japam. So we can say in our practical way, it is about reading scriptures, following japams and contemplations. When you do that, let's take japam. So when you take Swadhyayam as a japam. Japam is a karma, it's a kriya. When you do the japam on the Ishta Devata or the intended objective, let's take Ishta Devata. So I'm doing japa on Saraswati, for example. Then when I do the Swadhyayam, I study about that and meditate on her, contemplate on her. For me, what happened is Ishta Devata, the chosen deity, Lord Saraswati, Samprayogaga, in concert with me. The presence come to me. So many ways this meaning can be taken. We can take that I'm able to see this God. The deity comes to me. Or I can say, I can feel the grace in me. Or I can get the grace of the God. I would rather prefer that second part, because when you are doing japa and you feel the grace you with the blessings to have higher nature of yourself, that means you have been got anubhuti, anugraham, that happens. But it is also possible, because if I think about it and I see Saraswati standing in front of me and telling me to do something, it's possible. That's a siddhi. Well, if I take that one, what happened after some time? Siddhis means what? What happened to Vishwamitra? Siddhis go away. Siddhis will go away. The Saraswati will go away. And if you believe that is the only thing that you need, then you will starve, because Siddhis cannot come easily. Like Tyagaraja was running around for this Rama statue. He'll run around. Bhagavan says, He was holding that window all the time, looking at the Thiruvannamalai. He doesn't sleep. Yes, there's no sleep. He's he surpassed the sleep. So he was just watching all the time. And somebody thought, maybe Bhagavan is just so immersed in the Annamalai hill. So he asked him, so what happened if Lord Shiva comes in front of him and shows himself? Bhagavan says in Tamil, don't do all this trick to God. It looks for us, it looks strange and paradoxical, What do we want to do? We don't know. No, we don't know really what we want to do. Have you ever thought of the Swami that you're worshipping comes in front of you? What do? Have you prepared for it? We ran away, right? Sometimes we run away. We question it. Or you tell somebody, they'll say hallucination, mad. Swami can never come. We will even say branded. Swami can never come. Because Veda says incomprehensibly cannot come. It may come, Patanjali says. But it may come only to you in your consciousness. Because Swadhyaya, because you wanted that. Because Satyam, whatever you say, it come true. You wanted that. You get it true. But if it lingers around, imagine if God comes to you and then he doesn't go away, he just stays there. Okay, you talk, you get a lot of good things from him. Then you're going to get on with your life, You have to sleep, you need to eat food. And if he lingers around all the time, you don't know what to do with him, right? What do you do? That's why even when you do the puja, we'll say, Agachiti, Pradishtabhayami, Yadasthana Pradishtabhayami. Go back to your place. I don't want you here. It's very, very important to understand. Because if it comes in as a form of experience, it's mithyatvam. It's not true. It is a very helpful mithyatvam. It is making you, it gives you utsaha. See, these are important to give you utsaha, to give you encouragement, motivation. It's not reality. Atma is asankaha. Even God comes in front of me outside, I cannot attach with him because I am pure. It is a form, limited in form, nature. Sometimes when you listen to this kind of a very I would say profound, but I think very paradoxical statement, very hurting sometimes. How can you say that? God comes in, I'll take it. But think about it. Everything that is very prapalyam becomes boring. Rarity is a very valid. So here, Siddhi will come. So therefore, if somebody who is doing upasanas, japas, and if they sometimes tells you, I was doing it and I just felt like Lord Ganesha is telling me to do this puja for me. And don't ridicule at them. Don't say that. Because it made possible for them to do. It is their siddhi, some sort of a vibes. But they should take it not as a power in them. Oh, they shouldn't ask, Swami doesn't come to you. You are in a lower grade and I am in a higher grade. Swami comes to me. Then he's gone. It is coming to you because it is giving you utsaha. Now, it's a very beautiful slogan. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, in whatever form that you worship me, I will come in that form. This is exactly what Bhagavan says. I'll give you the siddhi. In whatever form you worship, I'll come to you in the form. But an important learning from that is, I worship you as Krishna because I know you, Krishna. You come to me as Krishna. But I have a Muslim friend. He worships Allah. He is as pure as I am. What he will see is Allah or Jesus. Now, how can I therefore go to a person worshipping Jesus or Allah or any other God that not in your dictionary and tell them that That cannot be true. You have to convert to my path. So Bhagavan strikes it out in one sloga. All religions are leading to me. There is no conversion possible. There is no superiority, inferiority in anything. That way you think, that way I come to you. So, but that is a siddhi. It will come, it will go. But it will come. It may come. I think all the siddhis I will say, it may come or it may not come. You cannot just say, look, I've been doing upasanas. He's also doing upasanas. He gets this sight of the Swami. I don't get it. You are no less, because maybe the Swami thinks you don't need this siddhi because you are far better than that. You're proceeding further. You don't need the utsaham anymore. You don't need the motivation anymore. But that person needs motivation to stay in this. Therefore, I show the glimpse of myself. We don't know. So therefore, don't ever need to be critical of somebody's experiences, expectation on this, because the path is very straight. We go only for Chitta Shuddhi. All the Siddhis will come and they plays on me, dance on me. Does not matter. Last one, Samadhi Siddhi, Ishvara Pranidhanat. So Samadhi Siddhi. Again, this you must understand, Patanjali has been so open about this word Samadhi. It was a very profound word in the first chapter, and he dissected in so many forms, so many different Samadhis he taught. Then he, in the second chapter, Samadhi Siddhi. So how can this be a Ashtanga Yoga limb? Because that is the Lakshyam there. This is Sanskrit. This words come in a different meaning and different context. Here we should take Samadhi as a peace of mind, the oneness of the mind, the accumulation of all the previous benefits, clean, strong, pure, focused mind, which is able to get the Atma Darshanam. That mind is Samadhi. Sama, tranquil, balanced. The whole thing is about, if you look at it, yoga is about balance in life. Not this extreme or that extreme. Everything is balanced. It doesn't say don't eat. No, I have this, there's a Chandrayana Vratam is there. What they do, they take the Amavasya, their first Tithi, they take 1 handful of food. Second day, they do 2 handful of food. Third day, 3 handfuls. So the 14th day, they take 14 handfuls of food, or 15th day. Then in the descending phase of moon, they reduce it like that. They do Vratams. But you must eat something. So everything is balanced. Don't go to extremes on it. So when you achieve that kind of balance in life, what happens is Ishvara Pranidhanatva. So this is that benefit of achieving the tranquility of mind comes by surrender to God. Ishvara Pranidhanatva, Ishvara Pranidhanam is the last niyamam, most fundamental niyamam that you must do. That means everything, all the sadhanas I do so far is in the name of God. I go back to the very basic part. How you should understand Ishvara Pranidhanam is karma yoga or bhakti yoga. Bhakti also karma. Yeah. So do your life, do every action as a karma yoga. When you do all the yama, niyama practice, and you take work as a worship. What is karma yoga? Remember that Ishvara Pranidhana has got 2 words, pregnant with 2 things. Ishvara Pradhanam, Ishvara Prasadam. Ishvara Pradhanam is everything you do is Ishvarat. All the work I do, I write the poetry, Ishvara. I do my office work, Ishvara. I am feeding trees, Ishvara. I transact in my bank as a banker, Ishvara Seva. The benefit out of that, the effect out of that is Ishvara Prasad. So by doing this, you get samadhi siddhi. You attain the tranquility of mind. It's vice versa. When you get tranquility of mind, you become Ishvara Pranidhanata. You become as total surrender to the Ishvara. Surrender is not easy. Don't ever think surrender is easy. Surrender is not just lying down on the floor. That's the first step, of course. Surrender means not bodily bowing or rolling on the floor 200 times. They're all important. Or even shaving the head off. Surrender is absolute understanding that you are transferring the responsibility. Transfer responsibility to the Almighty, the God. To whoever. If a child is surrendered to the mother means child has given the total responsibility of nurturing itself to the mother. She doesn't care anymore. Like, if you are crossing a very busy road as a child, the crossing responsibility for the child is a very big responsibility. Now, cars come, scooters come, motorcycles comes. Dangerous to do. But it holds with the mother's hand. The finger is held on it. What happened is, it has done a total surrender to the mother. What does it mean? It has given total responsibility to the mother. Now, mother is taking care of the child. What does the child do now? He does cross the road. But is it afraid now? No. It is now counting the cars crossing, counting the motorbikes. It is having fun, the crossing of the road, which is a nightmare. The mother's hand is not there. When the mother's hand is held on it, it's a joy. Same way in life, everything that we do, if we do a total surrender to the God, which means in God's name, in God's guidance, my life goes. Which means everything happens is what I accept. That is karma yoga. That is karma yogic life. So that's what he says. So when you do that kind of living, Ishvara Pranidhanat, your mind becomes samadhi siddhi. Naturally, because what does it mean? Samadhi siddhi means bad things comes, tripti. Good things comes, tripti. Tripti all the time means sukham. Sukham anuttamam, unexcelled sukham. If I have sukham all the time, I have no vitarkam for greed. If I don't have vitarkam and all for those greed and everything, I would be ahimsa. I'll be non-violent to anybody else. I'll speak the truth. If I speak the truth, whatever I say comes true. Whatever I say comes true means I have to be very careful what I say. Therefore, I control my speaking. When I control the speaking, naturally, I control my senses. When I control my senses, what happens? Asuddhi kshayam. My asuddha gets dissolved. When asuddha gets dissolved, I become a master of my karya, karana indriyams. When I become the master of it, I get chitta vritti nirodha. You see? The whole full cycle comes from just following yama and niyama. So I stop it here. So we've got the two steps, yama and niyama. Most very important. Without this, there is no point in going forward. We should start at least. You can't complete it, but it has to be a pursuit. So unless all of us take a vow that yama and niyama will follow, asana pranayama, all these lingas will not be effective. Om Asudoma Sadgamaya.
Om Asatoma Sadgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya.
Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.